Guten Abend, mein Name ist Heidenstein. Was ist los? Du bist am
Hello everyone, it's Hayden in the Philippines. Today I want to talk to you about getting married in the Philippines and some of the steps you're going to have to go through, and I'm just going to tell you my experience and what I've gone through so far trying to get married to a girl I met over a year ago. Alright, you want to hear it? Here it goes. The first thing that I had to do is we had to go to the church and go talk to the pastor or the priest and find out if it was going to be okay for me to get married to this girl, because I'm not a Catholic. And they said yes, it would be okay, but it'd be better if I converted to Catholicism or became a Catholic. Now, I've never been baptized, so to get married in a Catholic church you need to get baptized. So that's one of the requirements for me, is to get baptized, which I'm going to do. I'm going to get confirmed and baptized in the Catholic Church. Now, Gladys's family lives right across the street from the big Catholic church here in the neighborhood. So for Gladys, it's nostalgic basically because her mom and dad got married there, and she wants to get married in the same church that her mom and dad got married in. And by all means, I can oblige that. So like I said, we went over there and talked to the pastor, and he said that, I needed to be a confirmed Catholic and get baptized, which I'm going to do here in the coming weeks. That was the easy part. Then we had to go down to Naga, which is the town, the main town where the municipality's at, and you have to go talk to the people, and then they give you a list of requirements of things that you actually have to do. Now, the first time I got married was in Ohio. I went down to the courthouse, I paid $20. They asked me a series of like 10 questions, and that was it. Boom, marriage license, done. Well, that's not how it works here in the Philippines. You got to jump through some hoops. Now, one of the first things I had to do was, like I said, I went down to the municipality, and we went down there, and they gave us a list of things. Now, I had to give them my birth certificate, and then my wife died, so I had to give a death certificate. That was the easy part, and my passport. And then there were some other things I had to do. So I had to go, when that was all said and done, we had to go get this thing called a CENOMAR. Now, if you've never gotten a CENOMAR, this is quite the ordeal that you have to go through. Basically what it is you go to a place and it proves that you're not married. You have to prove that you've never been married or in the Philippines. Me, as well as Gladys, we had to prove through their system that we'd never been married. Okay, it didn't seem like a big deal. So we went over there just to scout it out and see what it was about, and we got to talking to the security guard. And when we went there that day just to look, we thought we could just go in, but no, not a chance. You have to make an appointment online. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because I'm a foreigner, I had to make appointment online. So we got an appointment. It was at 10:30, or was it 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock, and which seemed like a reasonable time. Shouldn't take that long. At least I didn't think it was going to take that long. So the day before, we went down and got a hotel, and that way it would be nice and easy just to get up in the morning, go eat some breakfast, and then go get in line. Well, I'm that guy. I want to be early for everything. So I'll show you here in a little bit, but we got there and there was probably 50 people minimum waiting just to get in the door. We were on the outside just waiting to get to the door. Now, we waited probably a good hour and 20 minutes just to get to the door. The is the line, people. This is what you got to do to get a CENOMAR. You got to wait. Lots of people, lots of waiting. Okay, we got to the door. Then when you go in, they've got a bunch of chairs sitting there, probably 20 chairs. Now you go to the front and you get in a chair. Now when the next person gets up, you move a chair over and get in the next chair. And so forth, and you just get, there's like 5 chairs, so you move from this chair to this chair to this chair to this chair, and then you go behind yourself and get in that chair, and so on. And that was just to get a number. We had to sit in like 25 different chairs, play musical chairs, just to get a number so we could go up and pay. Okay, so we get our number, and Gladys got a low number, which, I mean, we were side by side, so why she got a low number and then I got a high number. So she had like 25 people ahead of her, and I had like 80. I had to wait 80 people to get my number just to go up and pay. Now we do all that, and we're sitting there, I mean, and this place is a freaking madhouse. I mean, there's at least 100 or better people in this place, and it's hot. You know, they've got a little air con, but not much. I mean, it's hot, and there's people in there, and you know, we're all sitting there a little miserable. Everybody's complaining, but you can complain all you want. It's just not going to go any faster. Now, normally they've got an intercom in most places you go to. They'll go like serving number, blah blah blah. They don't have it like that. They got a security guard in there, and he's got a megaphone. I mean, an old-fashioned megaphone. He's calling out numbers. Number 55, number 56, and you got to pay attention. If you go to the restroom, you'll get called over. You'll get passed over. You know, so you have to pay attention to that. So we sat there from the time we got in. It was probably maybe 3:15. When I finally got up to go pay, and it wasn't that much. It was like 250, 300 pesos. It didn't cost a lot, you know, but you know, you just waited, and we waited, and like I said, I got called up. Gladys had got hers like an hour and a half before, and she was just waiting on me, and I know she was like, man, I wish I didn't have to wait, but you know, she loves me, right? Yeah. Anyway, so she waited, and I finally paid, and I give all my paperwork, passport, all this information that they needed, birth certificate, death certificate, just whatever information that they needed at that time. And when you go online, they'll give you a list of everything you need, and you have to have it all or you're going to get denied. So anyway, I paid and everything was cool. So then you go sit down and you have to wait, and they tell you it's going to take 2 hours for this to process. So like I said, I got mine around 3:15, and the place closes at 5 o'clock. You know, so I'm sitting there, and about 4:15, 4:20, Gladys goes, hey, just go up there and see where you stand. You know, so I went to the front of the line, and you got to be careful when you do that, because, you know, some of these people, they've been waiting a long time, and if you jump the line, they're going to jump your shit, and they're not playing. And Filipinos, I mean, you know, you're not used to how they get upset, and their language is different, and they get loud. I seen a guy jump line, man, and they gave him the business. Like 3 Titas jumped up and were like, I was like, holy shit, man, I don't want no part of that. So anyway, I just asked the security guard, and he was like, well, just go over here and ask. You know, he kind of like pushed me over to the window, and the lady clickety-clack, and she like looked at and like I said, it was 4:20. She goes, sir, yours is not going to be ready. Come back in the morning. So, you know, but I had been there 7 hours, and was told to come back in the morning. Okay, fine. You know, what are you going to do? You can't fight City Hall. So we come back the next day, come back in the morning, and then we have to play musical chairs again. So you get in the chair, you get in the back, and then whenever somebody goes up to the front there, then you move over a seat, and then you move over a seat, and then you go forward a seat, and then you move back over a seat, and that's like 20 chairs to do that. So we were there another good hour or better to get this CENOMAR, you know, in the morning, and I get my paper, it's green, and it's got the official seal on it. It says everything's kosher. Now I can, you know, take this and put it in my pack of stuff to take it back to City Hall in Naga. Now, because I'm a foreigner, that's not everything that has to be done. So that morning that we went back to get the CENOMAR, before I did that, I had scheduled, and the only way you can do it is, once again, you have to go online. You have to go online and book an appointment at the U.S. Embassy, the consulate. So they have a consulate in Cebu, or there's one in Manila. You can go to the embassy official in Manila, or you can go to the consulate in Cebu City. So anyway, I go to the consulate, I go in, and I got my paper. Now, one of the things that we had to do was I had to get an official paper from a lawyer who had typed everything up. It's called capacity to marry. Okay, so we go to the lawyer. She makes up the paper. Now everything you do has got to be in triplicate. Don't complain about it. Everything has got everything that you have, the birth certificates, the death certificates, everything. My passport. I had to have all that copied and triplicated. So now I've got a stack. Now I'm at a stack. So anyway, the lawyer, gave us this thing, and I went to the consulate. He looked it all over, and the lady told me at the lawyer's office to sign it, and they specifically said not to do it. But she's like, no, we do this all the time. Just sign it, and okay. So I get to the embassy, and they were like, look, dude, you already signed this. We can't use this. So I'm like, oh man. So luckily the guy behind the counter was nice to me. He's like, just go up to the hotel, you'll fold this over, and they'll copy it, and then we'll do it. So okay, we did all that. I went upstairs at the hotel. It's at the Waterfront Hotel and Casino. The consulate's below that. So anyway, I go up to the second floor, I get this copied. I go back down to the consulate. The guy lets me in. I sign it. He puts the stamp, the official seal on there, embossed seal, and I'm done. At least I think I'm done. So one of the other things I didn't mention is you have to get a tax paper. What was that called again? The what? Cedula. The cedula. And it's a tax paper, and we had to get that from the brown guy captain here. So we had to go to Uling, which is the little town she lives in, and it says that she pays taxes and that I live here, and something I didn't pay taxes or don't have to pay taxes yet. But you have to have it. It's part of the deal. It's got to go in your packet. So we get all this stuff around. I got all my paperwork. I'm like, okay, we got this in the bag. So we go up to the counter, and it's all the glass. They got it's outside, and they've got chairs outside, and you're sitting outside, and they've got the glass there with the little thing like you talk through like this, and then there's a little slot down here that you slide your paperwork through. So Gladys goes up there. She handles all the thing because it's all in. But the people behind the counter, they're Bisayan. I don't speak Bisaya. She handles all the thing. We put all the paperwork through. The lady looks at everything, and she's like, okay, everything looks good. So we're like, okay, I'm gonna get a marriage certificate. You have to do all these things just so the city will issue you a marriage certificate so you can go get married. Okay, so we think we got it all done, and then a couple days later we go up to the church because we got to go talk to the pastor again because I've got to do a seminar, basically a little seminar. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you about, is you have to sit through a 4-hour class that the city of Naga puts on, and you sit down and they go through everything. It's about how to be married, all the things that are going to happen when you're married. I mean, they from A to Z, from how to talk to your woman and sex and kids. I mean, they covered everything. So you sit through that, but then you have to do through the church. And you get a certificate, you get a certificate after you get through the marriage counseling through the city. Now, we go up to the church, like I said, and we go talk to the secretary, and the secretary is like, oh, I was just fixing to call you to let you know that paper that you got from the embassy wasn't right. You have to go back down to the city. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, let's do it right now. We get on a scooter. It's like a 30-minute drive. We drive down to the city, go to the window again, sitting outside. Gladys goes up to the window, What's the problem? Well, unfortunately for me, and let this be a very good lesson to all of you, the lawyer that we had do our paperwork, she copied and pasted. She had somebody before me, instead of taking and putting my passport number in where it went, she just used the last guy that was in there's passport number, and I didn't look at the paperwork. Now you'll notice whenever Filipinos get any paperwork done at a municipality, the DMV, anything, you'll see them, they're looking at everything. They're reading everything, looking at every last little thing to make sure that it's correct, because once you walk off, you know, it's a done deal. Well, like I said, that lady copied and pasted and put the wrong passport number in there, so whoever it was not me, so that paper that I got stamped with the official seal, which not to mention cost me $50, 50 USD to have that guy put that stamp on there. So now I gotta make another appointment at the U.S. Consulate, and you know, I have to go all the way down there, and with the correct paper again, with the correct passport number in there, just so the guy can do the thing again and put the embossed seal on there, and that cost me 50 bucks. So now it's 100 bucks. It should only cost me 50, but I had to pay 100. So note to self, anything that you do here in the Philippines, before you walk away, read everything. Read your name, her name, whatever pertinent information that needs to be on there. Make sure, address, everything. Make sure it's correct before you walk off. Now, I've done all of that. It's all in the bag. Tomorrow I go to the city of Naga, and they're gonna officially give me my paper that says it's okay for me to get married here in the Philippines. Now, after that's done, I have to take that paper to the church, and that's the only way the church will marry you. They will not marry you without that paper. So you have to have it, and I'm telling you, it's if you're planning on marrying a Filipina and you plan on doing it here in the Philippines, as soon as you get here, start doing the stuff. Don't wait, you know, because you're going to have to make appointments. And that CENOMAR thing I told you about, make the most early appointment that you can get. The doors open at 8 o'clock. If you can get an 8 o'clock appointment, you get an 8 o'clock appointment, and you show up there at 6:30, because there are people that are going to be waiting, and you will spend all freaking day there. I mean, it might be a little bit of a hassle, but make an 8 o'clock appointment if possible. And like I said, get there at 6:30, and then you maybe get out of there by noon, if you're lucky. We'll see. I can't speak on that 100%, but if I had to do it over again, that's the way I would do it. Now, like I said, tomorrow, today was election day, so we couldn't go get our paperwork today. So tomorrow we'll go to the city of Naga to get the official paperwork. Then I can take it to the priest, and then we can officially get married. And so far, if everything goes right, I will be officially married on June 28th at 3 o'clock. That's when the service is going to be held. Now, I will surely give you an update on this, and if everything goes right, I hope to be able to do the wedding live so you all can watch it as it's going on. Now, it's going to happen at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which will be 3 o'clock in the morning there, and I don't expect any of you all to be up for that. But at least you'll be able to see the ceremony and see how it's done here in the Philippines. And it's, they do it a little different. You know, I've never been to a Catholic wedding, but I'm going to be in a Catholic wedding. And there's rites and rituals and traditions that they observe here that I'm going to have to observe myself. But I'm 100% looking forward to getting married. I have been for a little while now. I think it's going to be a cool thing, you know, I've always thought that when you stand before God and announce to God and everyone else that you're going to give your undying love to this person, that's a sacred thing that you're doing, you know, and you can't do it lightly. So having to have jumped through all this hoops truly is making me appreciate a little more the fact that I'm going to stand before God and friends and family and declare my love to another person. And it's a binding contract, not just on paper, You know, the paper I don't care about. It's the spiritual aspect of the whole thing. The declaration that you claim that this is the one and only person that you're going to be with for the rest of your days. And for me, I've watched people get married, and it always makes me tear up a little bit. That you might think I'm a little sensitive, or whatever name you want to call me, but I mean, to make that kind of declaration before everyone, and you know, an invisible entity that you know exists or knows that you exist, is a beautiful thing, man. And I hope to be able to bring it to you, show it to you. All right, for now, that's all I have to say about this subject. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll answer any questions that I have. But if you are coming to the Philippines and you are going to get married, don't think it's going to happen fast, because it's not. Now, I've heard some people, we're out here in the province, and we're actually able to make this happen a little quicker. I've heard some people say that it took them up to 6 months to get a certificate to get married, up to 6 months. But I believe that was like in Manila and places like that, the big cities, where it takes a lot more time. So I think I'm fortunate that I met a province girl, and then I'm getting married in the province. Things are a little easier out here in the country. And easy? I don't know if easy is the correct word. All right, this has been Hiding in the Philippines. I hope this helped a little bit. Y'all be as good as you can. Ciao.